You give out a lot of money for something that you like, and this is investment. My university changed my mind a lot. I considered marrying well. Do you see this Lamborghini? You can have it tomorrow.
You will never be a successful person. You will end up like with drugs and I don't know.
But maybe you can.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Luminica.
And my name is Angelika.
And welcome to Post-Soviet Sisters podcast.
Here you are witnessing a sister talk. You're going to be a witness of a sister talk. And today's topic is about the
money.
Money talk.
Money.
Money talk. So because we are almost 9 years apart, I think that we have different views on
money.
And as we were growing up 10 years apart, I was in Austria and you were in Moldova. I think I'd be interested to find out what were your stages of the relationship with money, starting with, let us say, 14, 15, and until now, because I think, and financial education as well. As we didn't talk about this topic during that 10 years, and I have no idea did you do? Did you go out and spend all your money on McDonald's, or did you save money? I would like to maybe talk about this, and maybe for those who are listening to us and watching us, it would be interesting to find out what a young person thinks about investment as well. What is an investment for you, and what do you understand while thinking investment right now, and what did you understand when you've heard investment when you was 14, 15?
Well, I think my relationship with money changed and didn't change at the same time. I guess through our mama, for our mother, I got the feeling that I always need to have mama. I have to have some backup, like financial backup. And I don't think she ever. Although I think she also said it directly, but through her actions, because our mother always worked. She was always working, like our father worked and our mother worked, and she worked a lot. And she kind of also through her example showed us that you have to have your backup, whatever happens.
I remember her telling me when I was going on a date, and this guy was going to pick me up, and he invited me to a cafe bar. And she asked me, do you have money? And I was like, no, but I don't need them because he's going to pick me up and we are going to the restaurant, and he invited me. And in Moldova, it was, I think, I'm not sure about right now, but it was normal that the guys who invites you for a date is going to pay for the whole bill. And so he's going to pay at the restaurant and he's going to bring me back. And she was like, girl, what if you are going to have a conflict while your dinner? You will have to to say okay, to say nothing, so because you're like dependent from this person. And she gave me some money and told me that, and since then I remember, okay, I have to have a backup plan.
I have a similar story. We went with my back then boyfriend and my best friend and her back then boyfriend for the first time to the skis, and we went to Romania, and we went by car, and like everything was already paid for, and our mother gave me some money. I think she looked up how much a train ride from that city to our city costed.
Mama.
And she gave me the amount of money. She was like, she gave it to me. She was like, yeah, no, I don't need it. Like, we're going by car. And she was like, if you have a fight and you don't feel safe, you don't feel well, if you want to just leave, you have the money and you don't have to. I think her idea was you don't have to
accept something.
accept any kind of violence or any kind of weird stuff just because you don't have any way out. You have a way out. That's why you have a saying at the table. And I never needed that money for that, but it's an amazing mindset, and I think I'm carrying throughout my whole life financial wise is that whatever happens, I know I have something in my back pocket. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And and I think I grew up with this mindset. And at the same time, I was telling you that when I was young, I don't know. I know that in Austria or in Europe or even in America, a lot of kids start working when they're 14, 16, like just, weekend jobs. Yeah. In Moldova, I don't know now, but back then we didn't do that.
We're talking like we are like 80, I don't know about now, but back then,
no, but
we're
like,
not old.
No, but I think even now, like, you don't, as a 16 years old, only if you really need to, if your family is really poor and if the circumstances are so that you have to work, then a lot of people do. But
there are some exceptions, I think, I had in school one guy, he didn't do well at school. And everybody and the teachers, the Soviet and post-Soviet teachers are something very special.
Yeah.
You have maybe to talk about some episode.
We definitely have to.
Because it's a special topic.
Yeah.
So everybody was making fun of him and telling he will never, they were telling directly, you will never be a successful person. You will end up like with drugs and I don't know, and you will not end up well. And this guy, they simply didn't see that he was an entrepreneur, really. So everybody was laughing at him because at that point in school, he was being in that business and doing some night evening parties, let us say. And then everybody was laughing at him. And he grew up a really good entrepreneur, businessman, I have to say. So he failed a lot. but
I think he is more the exception.
Yes. Of course.
But my point was like we didn't have to work, so I'm not sure even if you're really allowed to work until you're 18, like officially.
Beginning with 16, I think so.
But there are different rules for that. Anyways, but because I was always an active person, I was working.
She was.
But it was always volunteer work, so I would participate at events.
So she worked for free.
Yes. Fun fact, I was working at the very first marathon in Chisinau. I was working there as a volunteer, of course. But, and through that, for me, the concept of work and earning are not 100% dependent. Yes. So you can work without getting money and you can get theoretically money without hard working, like physical.
Yeah, because we danced at the wedding, so it was like a pleasure for us.
Exactly.
We received money for that. We are former dancers.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's not for me. I think for a lot of people, they have this conception of money is through only super hard work and you have to kill yourself to get some money. For me, it's not like that. For me, these concepts are different in my head.
She has some Italian blood in her veins.
Yes, if you're watching us on YouTube, you see it. If you are listening to our podcast, you have to go on YouTube and enjoy my gestures, my dancing. But I still, even in school, although for me, the concept of money or earning money was not connected to something very hard. It was still connected to like. You can get money, like a career-wise, only if you land a good job. This is the way. I think I never considered marrying well. For me, like it was never my goal because I know there are some girls like this is her life goal. I never considered that because again, going back to our mother, she was very independent this way. That's why for me it was I will be CEO, or I will be manager, I will be boss. But
I think girls who are hunting for marrying well, they end up really marrying maybe an affluent man, but they are not married well. Like
yeah.
You know what I mean? I've met some and they are rich, but they are not really happy. Of course, there are some cases where they are rich and happy and in love and so on, of course, but some of them are not.
Yeah, and if you're hunting for a rich man, watch Tinder Swindler and then...
Oh yeah, great movie. Great movie. And it was new for West.
Yeah, for Western world, because in Eastern world, this is
this story is like, I mean, maybe 20 years old, like a lot of people from Egypt, I think.
Yeah. Egypt, Turkey, like a lot of men.
So this is not something new for us.
So because of this concept of I have to land a good job, but still not go for something that I don't want to do, I took a gap year after my school. And I was working as a waitress, not necessarily a dream job, but a one that surprisingly for me, because in Kishin, I remember that all waiters were like super poor. There were students that were getting nothing. And in Western Europe, waiters don't get so little. Like you can live out of just being a full-time waiter. And it's not a bad life. I think maybe when you have kids, it's something else, but that is why there are in Western Europe also waiters that are 40 and 60 and they're still working in there. So I did that to have this financial backup plan because then I would go to university and I knew from your stories that working and studying at the same time is a nightmare. And I've seen this also with my friends that had to do the same thing. And I knew that, okay, I will lose a year and graduate later than others, but I will graduate with a peaceful mind that I don't have to run after classes or instead of classes to work. My university changed my mind a lot to the perception of you have to land a good position. But I think it's not only me and my university, but the whole world and the concept of earning money changed so much. Especially when you're online, you can see a lot of people going super viral on TikTok, even younger people. And they earn money through content creation. And I don't say that content creation is not a hard job. Of course, it takes a lot of time and it's a lot. I worked as a social media manager and I know that the final post is just, the cherry in the top. There's a lot of work behind it. But now you don't have to start somewhere as a junior, or at least not in all industries. There are definitely industries where you have to still do this. I guess medicine is one of it. Like you would not just go straight to being the head of the clinic after your graduation because it's stupid. But in the world of marketing and content creation and even sales or consulting, you don't have to start somewhere as a junior to wait till you are growing and then you will get a lot of money. And then the other pivotal moment in my life was now after I graduated, I am working right now in a startup and it's a Web3 startup. And before that, I've heard and I've heard of course, about cryptocurrencies. And, like for me, it was like Bitcoin, Ethereum and something else like some shit coins. But yeah, like
Dogecoin.
Yeah, like, this kind of things. And then when I've heard about the startup, I applied through LinkedIn and I looked at them and I really liked their mission. But how they're doing this for me, it was not very weird or new, but it was a lot of information that I had to process. And when I got accepted and now I'm working there and a new world of possibilities opened because there are so many people that are very successful in the NFT world and building Web3. I didn't even know what Web3 was, like web, like internet. And then when I started to document myself to impress the guy at the interview, I was like, there was Web 1 and now it's Web 2 and then there's Web 3 and this and that. And I was like, and this all happens. It's not like I discovered that from me, but this happens for already some years. There are people that are right now, they left their other jobs, good paying jobs, and now they're full in creating a different system with social tokens and non-fungible tokens and this and that and communities. And there's so much out there. I think this is, again, one moment that is my financial mindset is, again, has a restart right now with all that, like from going from a point of, you have to start a job and then work there your whole life and go, just for the right position to now this world of possibilities. You can work in that project and at the same time work in that project and start in that startup and then do something for yourself and have multiple sources of income, not just to rely on your salary and ask the God every night that you are not fired or that your boss is in a good mood. No, now you have this. Of course, it's riskier, although it's still risky to pray just for one person to be in a good mood and the next day. But at the same time, of course it's risky, but at the same time, you kind of spread this risk. You have multiple sources. If something fails, you still have backup from somewhere there. And you can try this. And when you when you have these multiple sources, you also get to know more people and new informations. If I wasn't fired from my last job, my very first job after I finished university, now I got fired. If this didn't happen, I would never try for this startup and I would never find out, that this happened. And who knows what happens, after that, through the startup.
What I understood throughout my experience, there is no secure job because the generation of our parents and our grandparents, they are all talking like you have to get a secure job because digital and online are for them like something. What is this and what?
Yeah.
But now I think literally little by little they are starting to see that young people live very well from digital work or whatever we do online, but there is no secure job. Even if you are working like a doctor or like a politician or like I don't know. Well, politicians, there is another story because they get. I was so surprised. Did you know that they get, for example, in Italy, I think, lifelong after they finish working like a politician, they get a
in the parliament. You mean not just politicians?
Yeah. They get like a salary. A very big.
I know that all presidents in all countries say they get.
President is something, okay, there is one president 4 years, and except in some countries, there are some presidents that stay like decades.
We know at least 2 countries like this.
Yes. Oh gosh. So, yeah.
Yeah. But I think coming back to your question, my mindset changed, but I think the whole mindset of money changed for at least my generation, especially for the generation that comes after me. Because if you ask now, kids in school, they don't have the same ideas and dreams that I had at 14. They want something completely different because they see that there are a lot of other possibilities out there.
If you're at the beginning of your career, I would suggest, right? I don't know if you will agree with me or not. I would suggest that you choose some specified things, like you don't have to be, I don't know, a lawyer. If you are fully into this, then of course, but you don't have to choose a lawyer because a lawyer is something great. There are some, what I've learned, that people who are, for example, engineers, they are like gold. People who are specified on some small field. I remember when I finished school, one guy went to, he was doing great at school. He went to, I don't know how to say it in English, like this water, what is going through, like when you wash your hands, the water is going away. How do you call this system? I'm sorry.
Kanalizacija.
Yes.
Water supply?
I don't know. So he went to this, faculty, like an engineer, and we were like, he's going to have to deal with all this.
Yeah, infrastructure.
Yes, what is he doing? But it was a genius idea. He didn't succeed in this profession. So it's a bad example. Shit, it's a bad example. But, agriculture.
But maybe you can.
Agriculture, I don't know. I think this is, you have to, to go deep in one very small specified thing. As doctors, they choose after studying 4 years. After that, they choose, I don't know, I want to be doctor for neuro. I want to be a doctor for heart.
Yeah.
I think this is very good, good system. But coming back on my question, what was an investment? What was for you an investment when you've heard this word when you were 14, 15? And what is for you right now investment? And how did it change? And why did it change? If it changed.
I'm not...
I hope so.
Yeah, it did. I mean, when I first heard the word, I think it was like, it didn't mean anything for me. It was like invest. I guess I heard it in school. It was like invest in yourself or something this very generic. So for me, the concept of giving out money or putting somewhere money or making something with your money that multiplies your money was unclear. It was for me, like Web3. Okay. 1 month ago.
Back then, yes. Okay.
It was like, how can you make more money out of a little bit of money? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Where do you get the money from then?
Yes.
But then, with the time, I've heard a lot of people talking about investment when they were a little bit older. And, this was...
This was what age?
Maybe 18. But then, like when they were talking about investment, it was like more, I landed a job or something. I was doing something and I got money and now I invested in my phone. Like, where I invested in a better phone, where I invested in, I don't know, in better clothes, or whatever, like I invested. And for me, it was like, okay, investment is, I guess, something expensive. Like if you give out a lot of money, this is investment. Like this, this is what investment is. Like you give out a lot of money for something that you like, and this is investment. But later, I think the very first time when I heard about the word investment in a more financial way was also in school. Not so many know about it, but there was a program in our school, entrepreneurial program. It's an American or something program, and then they have,
the Americans.
No, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's European Union program. I don't really remember, and it's not that essential for this story. But teachers from schools could go and get certified for this program, and then they could teach entrepreneurship to kids.
I was so angry with our teachers, really, and with our educational system, because when I moved to Europe, I've seen, they have some specific, they go out, for example, they have in winter, they're going 1 week to ski. And they go when they're a little bit grown-ups, they go to, for example, to a bank and go through all the sections. And people there tell them, listen, this section is doing this. And why I was angry about Moldova, not because they're not having this. They are fucking having this.
I didn't know that.
They really didn't use it. Because when I went to, for example, I don't really remember.
I think they're not paid enough for that. Because it's their free time.
Okay, then go, instead of one math lesson, go to this, because I think this is the National Bank. They have, you don't even have to go there. The National Bank of Moldova has online, like a story. What is a coin? Why can be a coin coupled to gold or so? This is online, but because we come back to our story about Soviet and post-Soviet teachers, we didn't even get to hear about it. And younger teachers who are coming into the system, the old ones are trying to suck them up, in their own system. So they do not develop. And I was so angry about this because we have it. We just have to just pick about this.
Yeah. So coming back to this teacher, it was an extracurricular thing. So it was a teacher. She was not even my teacher, but I've heard about this. So I was like, yeah, sounds cool. I am active. I told you I was just everywhere.
So, and if you're young right now going to school, or if you're not so young and never heard about this, go to the National Bank of your country website. I'm sure you will find some stories, some history, you will be informed. If you're not in your schools or whatever, it is very easy right now.
Yeah, definitely. Because I didn't know that money used to be coupled to, you know, like to the goal. Like it was just like money. It's money. Where does money come from? I don't know. It's money. It's there.
Painted. Yeah. Printed.
But this program with this teacher, it didn't last long because obviously not so many kids wanted to stay after school because, you know, it was extra time. They could just went home and watch TV. And it was not really supported, you know, by other teachers, as you said, because how dare she? How dare you?
Of course, yes.
But, you know, for my very fragile brain back then, it was, again, Web3, eye-opening to see, you know, like, there is, in a company, there are two columns of money that comes in and money that comes out. And for me, and at the end of the day...
They have a business plan sometimes.
Yeah. But, you know, the thing is, we had to make a business. We had a business. We were creating present boxes. Because, you know, now if you go to a shop, you can find them, like something that you put your presents in. But back then, I don't think there were so many. So we were like, why wrap your present if you can just buy a box and put your present in this box? So we were manufacturing it. But the thing is, we had to buy the things. And it was so interesting because we're not just sitting and learning about entrepreneurship, we're seeing it. And at the beginning, we were like, yeah, you know, we will sell and we'll be millionaires. But you see that you have to give out money to buy things, and then you have...
Invest.
Wait, so that was like, you know, you have to first give out money, and then you create things, and then you have to search for a market, you know, like... We thought that everyone wanted it, but in the end, we found out like nobody wanted it. Like, why would they need it? And that was the very first moment when I've heard the word investment in a financial way, because our teacher said, because she said, like, you know, you have to give up money. We're like, we didn't sign up for this. What a scam program is this? We have to give up money. And she was like, if you, this is investment. You give out money for something that will later give you a return. So there will be more money out of it, because you give up money for the things, for the boxes, you create them, you sell them for more, and then you have this return. I was like, wow, this is how money multiplies. This is where it all comes from.
Yeah. But today we have so many channels on different podcast stories and YouTube, so you can find out there. The only thing, I think, the essential one, what you have to know about if you want to start a business, it's not always very easy. It's very hard almost all the time. And you have to solve, if you have a business idea, you have, the first question what you have to put yourself is, do I solve a problem throughout this idea and business? And if you solve a problem in the society, it is a good business idea. If it's like not solving anything, it's just a business idea, then it's pretty much going to collapse.
But that's, and this is how investment started to get, you know, a different shape in my head. And I was talking to you, I think, some time back, that after that, I was starting to look into this topic of investment, and I realized that, okay, it's not only about when you're in a company. As a private person, you can do this as well. And what is also important to say is that investment is not always, you know, stock market or buying something. You can also invest in your education. But there is this example that I always bring. If I invest in a course that helps or teaches me how to brew coffee, but then I learn it, and then I, you know, work as a mechanic, and I don't do anything with it. It was just a course about brewing coffee. It's not an investment. If I buy a course, I spend money on a course about brewing coffee, and then I open a coffee shop and I brew this coffee where I'm making money out of it, then it was an investment in this education or in this course as well. And and ever since then, coming back to discussion of the new world, there are so many possibilities right now to invest in. But all these possibilities also come with a lot of misinformation. So coming back to what you said, there are many podcasts and YouTube channels with the experts. We're not experts. We talk about our experience, but there are people that know.
That is why I always tell, go to National Bank website. You will find also there a lot of lies. But maybe there is the history of money. So you can read this history to your children, to your friends, to yourself, whatever, and filter the information. I think there are a lot of people telling this right now online, but I think this is so important.
And I think one also piece of advice that I would like to give is not, you can get, I mean, you theoretically could get rich quick, but this is such an exception. So don't fall for this, like also experts that, come in like in ads and say, do you see this Lamborghini? You can have it tomorrow. Like this is, you have to be realistic about it. I get it. There are a lot of things happening in the world right now when we want some securities, but also filter out information. And
unless you've bought Bitcoin when it was $50, then you got rich by doing nothing, just waiting.
Yeah, but not quickly.
Yes, not quickly.
Yeah, that's also the point. Like a lot of investments, you have to think that a lot of investments are long-term investments. So you invest in something and maybe in 10 years you'll get something.
Yeah. I remember when I was working like a waitress for an Italian guy, and in Austria. And in Italy at that time, a man won, I think, I don't know, $10 million, like a lot of money in the lottery. And I remember like it was published in the newspaper in Austria. And I remember my boss, like he was a Sicilian, Italian, right one. So he took this paid newspaper and was like, oh, this guy is going to be broke in 2 years, and laid down. So, and I was like, how can you be broke when you won $10 million?
But I think there's a statistic that a lot of people that win broke.
And a lot of them end up with even worse situation as it was when they bought this lottery ticket, because, this is another subject topic what we have to talk in maybe another episode. But you have to invest and take care where do you invest and take care what you hear. I think this is logical that you cannot, when somebody in YouTube tells you, this is my Lamborghini and this is my blonde, beautiful young woman, you can be like this in 1 week. I think this is so much. Of course, you want to believe in fairy tale, everybody of us. But this is so...
Yeah, but I think, when people,
Germans say Hausverstand,
Yeah, but I think when you're in a very shitty position, you're like, okay, I have nothing to lose, theoretically. That's why I will go for it. Yeah. Where this person looks trustworthy.
Do only things where you made at least a research.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope it was an interesting episode and a useful one. And I hope that you developed your perception of money and investment as Luminita did. And I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
That you started investing in some cryptocurrency like years ago. My sister. So wish you a good day and maybe see you and hear you next time.
Yeah, stay safe and also financially. Have a backup plan. Remember our mama's advice. Yeah. Have a backup plan.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.